A high-profile arrest has been made in Tigray. A regional government official has been arrested. Who is he? Did TPLF order his arrest? From which party is he? Was he involved in some uh, illegal activity, some embezzlement of funds? Welcome to my views and news. Thank you for watching the channel. Good to be with you. Two main topics in this video. Firstly, the arrest of this high-profile regional government official in Tigray. Secondly, Somalia views. Somalia, Turkey oil gas exploration deal has been leaked, which is sparking a controversy. This deal was not made public. It was signed last year, if you remember. Hassan Sheikh government signed this deal to counter Ethiopian MOU with Somaliland, but the deal, now it has been leaked, shows clauses which favor Turkey. Let's start with this news story. Now, Somali viewers from Somalia, or those viewers who follow Somalia, if you remember, I warned Somalia last year. When Somalia signed this deal, I said Somalia needs to be very careful. Why did I say all this? Because I covered Libyan Civil War. Turkey intervened in that war in support of GNA. Back then, Tripoli capital was under siege. GNA was trying to save the capital. LNA was trying to take control of the capital. Turkey back then signed a deal with GNA and sent its forces, its military equipment, its drones to Libya. I covered that war. I studied it. Behind that Turkish military intervention was basically Turkish economic policy. Turkey wanted to counter a gas pipeline deal among Israel and some other countries. That is why it signed a deal with Libya to gain rights of exploration in Libyan EEZ, exclusive economic zone, Libyan waters. Purpose was to offset gas pipeline deal involving Israel and some other countries. That is why I warned Somalia, because I know how these countries operate. When they intervene in other countries, basically they have their economic agenda behind it. They are no friends, no brothers, international relations. There are interests which align. People say, Sajid, Turkey is a Muslim country, Somalia a Muslim country. You're a Muslim too, but you support Ethiopia. I don't support any. I know religion has no role in international politics. Interests matter. Turkey, other countries, they'll support anyone where their interests are protected, whether the countries are Muslim or non-Muslim. When the countries are Muslim, they'll use religious card. When the countries are non-Muslim, they'll use other cards. So the countries need to be careful. I warned that Turkey was going to exploit Somalia. I warned Somalia to be careful, but the deal has been leaked, and it shows that Turkey is the beneficiary of this deal. Hassan Sheikh government was under pressure last year when it signed deal with Turkey. Why? Because Ethiopia was adamant to implement MOU with Somaliland. Hassan Sheikh government gave away its precious natural resources very cheap to Turkey. Deal was not shown to parliament, Somalia's parliament. It was not shown even to members of cabinet too. Only Hassan Sheikh, the president, minister of petroleum, Somali, they knew about the deal. It was signed in Istanbul. I said, if you remember, the deal should have been discussed at the parliament. Opposition should have been taken on board. But back then, Somalis criticized. They said, Sajid, you support Ethiopia. That is why you make all these suggestions. But now time has proven I was correct. The deal firstly gives Turkey a rights to 90% of Somalia's oil and gas reserves. Means that Turkey will explore for oil and gas found in Somalia. 90%, 95% of this 90% of this oil and gas reserves, all the reserves will be dug out by Turkey. Firstly, secondly, if there a dispute arises between Turkey and Somalia, where will it be settled? In Mogadishu, in Istanbul, not in Mogadishu. Thirdly, Turkey will have export rights too. It will it will dig out oil gas and export it. Turkey can outsource or assign third parties as well rights, different rights, exploration, export, drilling, etc. Turkey can assign rights to third parties too. Now, Turkey is not the host country, but it has the right to assign third parties to work to be part of the work in Somalia. Just 5% royalty for Somalia. No upfront payments by Turkey. No signing bonus for Somalia. After the production starts, Turkey will get its expenditure, how much it spent. Then revenue will be distributed. Somalia will have no oversight, it seems. I said, if you remember, I said that if Somalia wants to uh, strike a deal with Turkey, it should ensure the participation of Somalia's companies, which should be part of the work of exploration, part of refining, part of export, etc. Turkey should not be given exclusive rights to all the exploration work in Somalia. I said that last year. Agreement valid for 3 years. Somalia can give 6 month notice to Turkey, but in the valid for 3 years. Sorry, agreement valid for 3 years. Somalia can give a notice if it wants to terminate the agreement 6 months before it, but in 3 years, Turkey can dig out a lot. So Somalia, I think, needs to have a better deal. It signed a weak deal. It gave so much to Turkey. I think deal should be made public. Opposition, government, all should hold discussions. National consensus should be created. And if any issues, any disputes arise, they should be settled at international courts. Let's see now what happens. But this leakage of the deal will lead to pressure upon Hassan Sheikh government. Turkey wants to mint money in Somalia. Its main interest in Somalia is to strengthen its military presence and to make use of Somalia's natural resources as much as it can. Secondly, viewers, a high-profile arrest has been made in Tigray, which has sparked a controversy. Who is this man arrested? Is part of Tigray interim government. He was part of Getachew-led, I think, interim setup, and he's continuing, if I'm not wrong. Who is this man? Why was he arrested? Is his arrest linked to Manjurino, Fatwa Gebrigizabr? People are linking Manjurino to the arrest of Haile, who was arrested at Addis Ababa airport 3 days ago. People say Haile is in charge of smuggling network, and he's been operating with the Manjurino and Debrecen to smuggle gold and minerals from Tigray. Now, Mangiarino is being linked to another arrest, this time in Tigray. Tadal Mangisto has been arrested in Makala. Tadal was the head of Transport Bureau of Tigray, part of regional government. He is not from TPLF. He is from Betona opposition political party. Gitacha government had some representation of opposition parties. Betona was part of the government. By the way, Salsevogene last night rejected the new government, saying that this government is TPLF dominated, more TPLF dominated than the previous one. Why was Tadal Mangisto arrested? He was arrested at court order, after a court ordered his arrest. Why? No clear information, but it's been said that two different stories being shared about his arrest. Some say that he was in charge of Transport Bureau, but under his authority, some vehicles were sold illegally. That is why court ordered his arrest. Others say that he wrote a letter to take back a vehicle which is being used by Munjorino, Fatlever. The vehicle is the property of Transport Bureau of Tigray. Monjorino was using it illegally because she is not part of Tigray interim government. She cannot use government vehicles. So he ordered the return of the vehicle. He wrote a letter or he communicated to Monjorino for the return of the vehicle. Monjorino refused to return and she mobilized a court, and Tadal Mangisto's arrest orders were issued and he's been arrested. These two stories are being told. I don't know what truth is, but I told you. So we'll have to wait. I told you what I learned. We'll have to wait to see what happens. This arrest will lead to more divisions between the government and opposition. Salsevogene boycotted the new interim government yesterday. Betona leader arrested too. It means all opposition parties are going to boycott this government led by General Tadesse. Thank you for watching.